Another weight loss trend strikes again.
This morning, the manufacturers of Ozempic and Mounjaro, the diabetes drug popular for aiding in weight loss, are facing a lawsuit regarding alleged side effects.
Like a Nashville law firm is jumping in on a list of people suing the makers of diabetic drugs like Ozempic.
You've seen 100 drug commercials on television. They all list all these side effects. Well, they underplayed a major sickness.
People on Ozempic for weight loss say that they are pooping their pants and
their beds.
A woman will suffer diarrhea for the rest of her life after taking Ozempic, and she is one of dozens who are suing.
Whenever I would self-inject on Thursdays, pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was stuck in the bathroom. Explosive diarrhea.
I have never appreciated a solid stool as much as I do right now. Hello everyone, my name is Rogan and this is Bahamian Gyal. On my platform I do solid stools. What a flip. I do, what the hell I do on this platform? Oh, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. And I do solid stools. What a flip. So before I get started, I want to thank all of my new subscribers. I know a lot of you are new around these parts. And of course, I want to thank my day ones and my members, my channel members. I love you guys so much. So let's just get right to the video. The lawsuits against Ozempic are stacking up. I believe it's now at 55 and counting for people who have had adverse effects and reactions to Ozempic that they say was not completely articulated to them by the doctors who were prescribing this medication. Now, this medication, as I mentioned earlier, was prescribed or devised rather for those individuals who are who have type 2 diabetes and needed to manage that. But one of the things I think people are not talking about enough are these gastrointestinal issues that are coming up as a result of using Ozempic. I know a lot of you are very familiar with Ozempic face, courtesy of a lot of these celebrities who are on Ozempic. And what it is really is this gaunt look that people get after taking this medication. They tend to have more hollows under their eyes, their sagging skin. It's like premature aging to their skin. So one of the reasons why people with type 2 diabetes love it is because it lowers their A1C, and one of the benefits, I suppose, is the weight loss that comes along with it. Of course, individuals who are not diabetic are now taking Ozempic and Wegovy, and they take Mounjaro and other weight loss treatments from these injections, but Ozempic seems to be the one that's in the news a lot because of these unintended side effects that people have been having. So a lot of these lawsuits stem from the fact that these people say that the company didn't adequately warn them of the effects, the side effects that Wegovy and Ozempic would have on them. And yes, I think doctors do have an obligation to giving you, the full gamut of what could possibly happen. But the full gamut is also impossible because you just never know how somebody is going to react to it. How Rogan reacts to Ozempic might be vastly different from how you, Tony, react to Ozempic. And then sometimes things crop up later on. The drug hasn't been on the market that long for people to say, these are an absolute list, or this is an absolute list of how many symptoms you're going to have and how it's going to affect you. So it's always a risk. And one of the things that I realized too is that when people are so hell-bent on a result, and the result is I want to lose weight and I want to lose it quickly, they seem to kind of like ignore what is being said. Like, take a listen to those commercials when they come on, whether they're advertising heart medication or if you have cancer and they're advertising something that can help you manage or tolerate your chemotherapy better. I never ever look at the ad and listen to the ad. So when it starts playing and they introduce what it is, I always find myself like looking away from the ad, because sometimes they will have like, oh, this party scene going on in the background, people doing this like coordinated dance routine. And I'm like, not interested in that. I want to know what the symptoms are. So I deliberately will look away from my TV screen and just listen to like all of the side effects that they're saying. Let me also say that I find that some doctors are a little too eager to just pass Ozempic on to their patients. So I'll tell a personal story. I wanted to lose some weight. And I'm old school. Like, when I say old school, I believe changing diet and exercise is the way to go. I remember when they had like hydroxycut, they still have hydroxycut, I believe. But I remember taking 2 of those pills and my heart felt like it was going to pound out of my chest like crazy. And I said, I will never take like a supplement, and I will never, ever, by the grace of God and the power of Grayskull, take Wegovy or Ozempic or any of that stuff. But I went to a doctor, and luckily this doctor, she's not my regular doctor, she was filling in for my doctor, and she was all about like, you need to change your diet and just work out. I got like a prescription to go to a nutritionist. And I remember going to the nutritionist, and the first thing that the person said was, well, do you want to just get on like Ozempic? And I was just like, no. Shouldn't we just like kind of go through like what I eat in a given day and see like how I can switch things around? It was just like immediately she wanted to just go right to that. And that was like a red flag for me. And I definitely think sometimes people will go to doctors who are very gung-ho to just give them these things and they go about their way. But I also think sometimes the patient pressures these doctors and these nutritionists, like, because they are lazy in some respects, and this isn't everyone, but there are some people who are lazy and they don't want to do it the old way, the old school way. They just want to get a shot and be on their way.
I do worry when I see people who are showing up to our practice who say, I got a wedding in 6 weeks, I got to lose 10 pounds, put me on this drug.
What are the long-term worries that you have? And this could just be a generalization. Like if somebody is maybe not a pure health candidate that's doing it because they want to tighten up that 10 pounds or 20, like what do you see as the long-term risk?
That's part of the problem, Michael. I don't think we know. And that's the problem I have with really being able to tell my patients, like, this is a lifelong strategy. And that's what I say to patients as well. I'm like, look, I think there's probably a net benefit to you doing this in the short term. So let's give it a shot.
Short term meaning?
Let's do this for a year. I think what I'm limited by is the duration of the studies.
That's an excellent point that he just made. I think what disheartens me, and this is going to be a real quick reaction because I think he was just right to the point, is that people are using this just... It's like 10 pounds. You want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I think doctors say that it's safe to lose a pound a week. That's what I've been told. I think the max I probably would want to lose in a week is 5 pounds. So you could do that just from restricting your diet for the 2 weeks and doing some sort of workout rather than taking this drug where a doctor just admitted, many doctors have admitted that they don't even know what the long-term consequences are. Like it's almost like these people are becoming guinea pigs, and then there's a case study that'll be done later on to show what happened. Like this lady with the incessant diarrhea that she'll have for the rest of her life. I just don't think y'all understand. Have you all ever had diarrhea? We friends, so we could just talk. Let me tell you something, that is the worst feeling in the world. It just feels like you're so scared to drink anything. You're scared to eat anything. Your quality of life is immediately hampered because it's like you don't know if you can go out anywhere because you don't know if it's going to strike. It's just a constant fear. Because who wants to... Y'all ever smell diarrhea? Anyway, okay, let me leave it right there. So I don't want to gross y'all out too much on this video.
The things they don't tell you about Ozempic, Mounjaro, or however you say that damn medicine, is in the first 2 weeks, you will poop more than you've ever pooped in your entire lifetime. You will have gas like it's nobody's business. And I did vomit once. But yeah, it goes away in about 2 weeks. And then it settles down and it's fine. And it quiets the food noise. And you're good to go. But like, damn.
Luckily for her, it subsided. She said it went away for her in 2 weeks. But I've seen other people commenting like it's like a recurrent problem. So, woo. That's rough. Her talking about the quieting of the food noise, that's another thing that I've heard people who are on Ozempic say, which is very, very crucial. There are some people who have a crazy relationship with food and they want to lose weight and all they think about is food constantly. That's what they're talking about with that food noise. You're constantly thinking about what you can eat, and it helps that food noise be quieted so they're not thinking about food constantly. And because it's an appetite suppressant. So she says it's been 4 days of waterfalls. Ugh. I've heard people say that the weight comes back once you stop. And I'll tell you why the weight comes back. Because people's habits have not changed. You'll find people who are on Ozempic or Mounjaro, whatever. They're still eating ice cream and pizza and all these crazy things that they should have limited, right? Because they didn't do the foundational work. They didn't stop eating poorly or drinking a bunch of beers or sodas or whatever. They didn't stop any of that stuff. And they just took a drug that helped them to lose the weight. And so they figured I can have the best of both worlds. I can eat whatever the hell I want and I can still lose the weight. But if you plateau or your insurance drops you because that happens as well if you're on Ozempic and, you know, it's a costly drug and your insurance company says, you know what, you're just too costly, we're going to drop you and now you can't afford it. You're going to gain that weight back because you never did the foundational work to stop eating poorly, drinking poorly, having a sedentary lifestyle where you're not moving. So that's what's going to happen. That's inevitable. But if you had made changes while you were losing this weight, then I feel like you would have been able to maintain it. Let's talk about the burping aspect of it, because this was something that I definitely have been reading on, is this sulfuric burp smell. Anybody who knows anything about sulfur, it's stinky.
The OZ, it's working.
Yeah.
Any side effects?
Yeah.
What is it?
The main one
Yeah.
is the burps.
Genuinely the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life.
So
I'm not even joking, dude.
We were on the plane yesterday, or the other day, and we sat together, and I had it really bad, and it's literally like you're burping up rotten eggs.
So then we're sitting there, dude, and it smells like we're like in
I'm
the air.
cranking these things
And
out
it
like every
smells-
couple of minutes.
But you're doing like those kind, like
I'm doing this.
and
I'm
then
doing the you know, the fat girl at a bar. Doing that
blowing-
thing, blowing it to the side. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, and I thought there was a sewage problem on the plane. And then we were at the ship on Friday. And I'm like, this place has a sewage problem too? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, what is going on?
I've seen too many comments from too many people talking about this very thing that this gentleman is talking about, like the incessant burping and the smell. I would not want to be seated next to anybody who's burping that up and, oh, that smells so stink, man. Yuck. The diarrhea is one thing. Now even if you don't have diarrhea, you just keep burping incessantly and it smells like rotten eggs. Nasty. If you've lost weight and that's it, good for you. If you are suffering with incessant diarrhea, gastrointestinal problems, nausea, sulfuric burping, sallow skin, aged skin, your face looks much older because of this stuff, I feel for you. I would just stop. I don't care. I'd rather be fat than to be poopy all day. I'd rather be fat because guess what? I could be fat and sexy. I ain't find nothing sexy but pooping all the time. You forever wiping. Y'all know how I feel about the wipe. With the pow. With the pow. That's the situation where you with the pow all day. Forever. Okay, so she didn't say anything. She just had the music playing while she was basically responding to one of her commenters who was saying that they were on the toilet, and she was like co-signing it like, yep, they ain't lying. Let me just ask a question in the middle of this video. Like knowing what you know now, because I know if y'all are on Ozempic and y'all poop and y'all ain't gonna want to admit it. But if you're brave and we friends and it's just me and you, only me and you gonna see this comment, tell me if you had like a lot of toilet bowl action. Ain't nobody gonna see it but me. Put it down there in the comment section. But if you've never been on Ozempic and you were thinking about it, does hearing about these side effects in any way discourage you? Or is it like, that won't be me? Here's the thing about my personality. I ain't never gonna be the one who says, that'll never be me. In the sense that, like when I hear about side effects, I don't go, well, that's just her situation or that's just his situation. That ain't gonna be me. I always think all that stuff that's happening is gonna happen to me. Let me just do what I do. Let me cut back on my little sugary drinks. And let me show you all what I love to eat. Oh God. I shouldn't show you all this, but let me show you what I love to eat. These. I freaking love these so much. What do you call it? Popcorn? This ain't no sponsored post, y'all. But I must have gone, this is my problem right here. How many calories does it have? Oh, 140 if you eat 16 crisps. Gyal. How many servings in this bag? 7. I eat all 7 servings, not in one go. But man, they're so delicious. Y'all remember when they had like gastric bypass, bariatric surgery? When that was all the rave? And everybody was signing up to go get their stomach tied so they can lose this weight. And I never was into that. I just ain't into that sort of stuff. I personally know people who did it. And man, the weight loss was so drastic. Everything was hanging. Young people, you know, neck was ropey. Everything was so bad that they had to have plastic surgery to cut off the excess skin. And now they have a bunch of scars. Yeah, but these popcorners, I into them.
A woman will suffer diarrhea for the rest of her life after taking Ozempic, and she is one of dozens who are suing Novo Nordisk. This is a drugs maker, and the claim is that it caused gastroparesis, which is the scientific name for stomach paralysis. And Ozempic is not alone. There are two other similar drugs, Wegovy and Mounjaro, I'm not sure how to say that, they're also facing dozens of lawsuits that now in total are in the hundreds, but lawyers expect the true number of victims to be in the thousands, with more stepping forward every day. They were claiming that they were not warned about the side effects. And it's a pretty awful side effect to have diarrhea every time you go to do a number 2 for the rest of your life. That's horrendous.
Let me tell y'all something. If I were the person who went on Ozempic, my doctor didn't tell me that I could possibly have diarrhea para siempre, forever. Rogan was going to be to the courthouse with my attorney.
Your Honor, allow me to fumigate my wisdom on the defendant.
Hey!
I'm sorry I just woke up, but I'm gonna reply. So I no longer take Ozempic. I stopped August 2022. But whenever I would self-inject on Thursdays, pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was stuck in the bathroom. Explosive diarrhea. I was very nauseous. Sometimes I'd throw up. I also had these really terrible sulfur burps where it just, like, I would burp all the time and I could taste it and it was foul. And I did that for a full year. My body could not tolerate a mega dose once a week. And I know some people are doing well on Ozempic. I'm very happy for you. It is fabulous for controlling your glyco-A1C. It is a wonderful drug to help suppress appetite. But right now, my A1C is being maintained by diet and metformin.
I hate that we just kind of reach for the quick fixes, this magic pill so quickly rather than just trying to see if something else works first. If you're somebody who's tried everything, and then you say, "Oh, I've tried everything." Sometimes people say they've tried everything, but they may go to the gym once or twice, or for a month, and then be like, "Oh, it didn't work." That's not enough. If you're willing to give Ozempic a year's worth of your time in dealing with sulfuric burps and diarrhea and all these other things, these gastrointestinal issues that come along with it, if you're willing to commit to that for a year, why don't you commit to the gym or dietary changes for a year? And I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. I'm not, but I'm saying it's got to be a better alternative than permanent diarrhea. But again, you have an obligation. You, the consumer, you, the patient. It's your body. It's your life. The doctor could, they're trying to make money. All this talk about food and things. Got me hungry. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at This Bahamian Gyal, also on TikTok at This Bahamian Gyal TBG, and of course right here on YouTube, my favorite platform ever. You can go ahead and subscribe if you like the content. If you don't, you feel free to watch and move on.
The rest must roll.